Good evening, everyone. I am Richa Sehra, founder and editor in chief, Responsible Hospitals. I hope all of you can see me live right now. And today's session is more about the kids since there is a season which is going on. And a lot of kids are affected by dengue, fever, and on, I would say, the cough and cold. And I'm sure a lot of people are worried, the parents are worried. So we'll be talking more about the dengue in children, how it is impacting the children and how can we just cure it. So I'll be live with Dr. Sahil Bansal. He's a consultant and pediatrician with the Cloud9 Hospital, Chandigarh. And he'll be live with us soon and we'll be just starting the session ASAP. So I'm just trying to add Dr. Sahil immediately. Yeah, I think I. Good evening, Dr. Sahil. How are you
Good evening.
doing?
I am good. How are you?
I am good too. Thanks for getting some important schedule out
No,
because I'm
it's
sure with
okay.
a lot of kids you hardly get time.
Yeah, it is tough sometimes, but this is also very important. I mean, preventive medicine and preventive to prevent diseases are also equally important as the treatment
Sure.
of that. Yeah.
Sure. So welcome to our Insta live session because we are doing it for the first time with you.
Yes, yes, yes.
And so, Dr. Sahil, I just wanted to start with the thing that since there is a weather changing season, also COVID has impacted a lot of lives. And along with that, we are forgetting about the other dangerous things which are actually surviving.
True,
So we are
true.
forgetting about the dengue and the other malaria and all. So I think it's the time wherein a lot of kids are actually affected by fever, cold, and cough. Most of the kids are like that. So what do you think? So if you can just give a little more, impact or little description about what is dengue and how is it impacting the children first.
See, dengue is mainly a viral disease. Okay, it is a mosquito-borne disease, means it cannot like COVID. We say is an airborne disease, so it can spread from one person to another, child to adult, adult to child, through the air, through the droplets. But in dengue, it is not that case. It is usually spread by a mosquito, by the bite of a mosquito. So my mosquito is the host for this, which contains the virus and which can transmit from one person to another.
Okay.
And usually the monsoon period or the pre-winter periods is the one where we have or mosquitoes is on a high. Obviously, because of the collection of water at so many places, we don't. Most of Indian places we don't have very good sewage systems or drainage systems, no matter which part of the country we are in. Because of which there's always stagnant water, and which is usually a breeding point for these mosquitoes. And the mosquito bites are the ones which spread these mosquito-borne diseases, mainly malaria and dengue.
All right. So, Dr. Sahil,
Yeah.
just tell me, since let's say, how do we actually identify that this kid actually is being impacted by dengue, which is why he has
Hmm.
fever or any other symptom? So, how do we identify that?
See, the first and the most common symptom of dengue is fever, generalized weakness, decreased appetite. Any child having fever due to the cause of which cannot be prescribed, I mean, there is no other symptom like cough or cold, or the fever is more than what is expected. The child is complaining of a lot of body ache, pain behind the eyes, the child is complaining of any backache. These are some symptoms which can which makes us suspect that maybe this is not just any other fever, any other viral illness, but can be dengue. So at that time, what we usually do is a number of tests we get it done. Not obviously on the first day of fever, but usually second or third day of the fever.
So, I think we should just have a check on it that how is it going up? I mean, the
Yeah,
baby
yeah,
getting
yes,
fine
yes.
or it is
Exactly.
not.
If the baby is responding to normal antipyretics, like paracetamol is the most common antipyretic that is even available over the counter and is used in most part of the countries, even without the prescription of a doctor, to be honestly speaking. And if the fever is not being able to be treated with that and the child is not responding to it and still the fever is relapsing, it is occurring after every 6 to 8 hours. And then it is the time that you should consult your doctor, the pediatrician or the general physician, and he will then prescribe you if you need to go for a dengue test or not.
Okay. So for how many days we should actually wait that you know whether it is dengue impacted fever or not?
See,
Till
up to
3 days or
24
5
hours,
days.
up to 24 hours, still you can wait. Though, ideally speaking, if you are having fever, the first thing you should do is without taking even medicine. I mean, you can take your medicine, but you should go and visit your doctor because no fever can be of a normal thing. We usually say it is just sardi khansi hai, bukhar hai, but usually it is not normal sardi khansi. But you need to know what it is because it can just be a starting point of something much more severe than normal sardi khansi. So ideally, you should not wait at all, and you should see any doctor, whichever your family doctor is, and should not wait. But up to 24 hours, still people do usually wait before going to a doctor. And after 24 hours, when they see that they have not got the desired result, desired response with the medication, that they visit their doctors. So up to 24 hours, it's still okay. After that, definitely you should see your doctor.
Sure. So it's,
Yeah.
and what about, you know, the kids who are not having fever, but they are going through just a cough and cold? Is it also a point of,
Usually not. I mean, usually they usually go for symptomatic treatment if it is only cough and cold. Mainly, most of the time, it is just allergic thing that they are having cough and cold, a normal viral illness, which the flu that we talked about, influenza. So in that case, it is still okay. We need not get any test done. We need not go for a dengue test to be done in that case. But yeah, if the symptoms are out of proportion, if it is not the normal sardi khasi that you usually come across, if the child is not eating well, if he is not passing enough urine, if the intake is poor, if the output is poor, or you feel that he is not responding well to your commands, he is lethargic or he is drowsy most of the time, then definitely, even without fever, you can consult your doctor at the earliest.
okay, okay. And since you just spoke about the symptoms and you also spoke about that, you know, when do we see the doctor? So I think people, a lot of questions I could see, I'm going to take up one by one. But
Yeah,
before
sure.
that, I just wanted to cover up that how do we go about the testing? What is the, is it very technical? Is it, how does this test takes place? How do we identify that?
See, when one is infected with the dengue virus, there's an incubation period, usually of 3 to 7 days, that the symptoms will start occurring. In that period, the virus will go inside your body, it will start replicating, and it will produce an antigen. Okay, by COVID, and there's a lot of talk about antigen. So usually, by the second or third day of the symptoms, what we go is for a rapid antigen test, for a dengue antigen, which will detect the presence of that antigen, which was present on the virus, to detect if the dengue virus is inside your body or not. Then
Okay.
followed by that, usually the antibodies start to rise up in the body, which is usually after fifth or sixth day. Then there are two type of antibodies. One is IgM, IgG. That's too much of detail, but usually they come up in the second week of illness or after 5 days of illness, not in the first week. So during the first week, when you come with symptoms of fever and malaise and body ache, it is usually the antigen that we detect in the blood, and that gives us the clue that whether it's a dengue or not.
All right, I got
Yeah,
it. So I'm just gonna take up some questions
sure,
which I
sure,
don't want
sure.
to miss out.
Yes.
Somebody saying my baby sleeps too much. I don't
Mhm.
know if it is related to this or not.
No, baby sleeping too much will also depend on the age of the baby. It will depend that
Right.
has there been a recent change in the pattern of sleepiness, or he has always been sleeping more, and it is like it is a continuous sleep or it is a disturbed sleep. I mean, just sleeping too much. Can we get more on this? That would be much more helpful if I had
Yeah,
to help.
understood.
Yeah.
Then someone has asked that what platelets count is alarming in children with dengue.
See, usually platelet count in children should be always be maintained above 1.5 lakh. But above between 1 and 1.5 lakh is a gray zone. It is still not alarming. But if it is less than 1 lakh, then definitely it is an alarming thing. Because from 1 lakh, it can very soon go down into thousands. It can be just a matter of few hours, 12 or 24 hours, that it was 1 lakh in the morning, and by night it can even reach 50, 40,000. So 1 lakh is the cutoff that it is an alarming sign and usually needs hospitalization.
Sure. And since you just spoke about the dengue test, let's say if the babies, you know, now we have identified and we know that baby has dengue. So what is the
Yeah.
next step? Is it like you have to admit the baby in the kid in the hospital, or there could be a treatment at home also which is available?
See, dengue usually manifests in a way that the acute illness of dengue can be divided into three phases: phase one, phase two, phase three. Phase one is usually the period that the patient complained or which its children complained with a lot of fever and malaise. It is not the one in which there's a lot going on inside the body. So that time it is usually the symptomatic treatment that we give. But the second phase of the illness between day 4 to day 7 is the one which is the more serious type. And at this time, patient is free of most of the symptoms. They will not be having any fever. So there's a false sense of being well, of being better. But this is the time that there's a lot of going on inside your body. There is extravasation, means the fluid inside your body is leaking out into the third spaces. The platelets start to fall off. So this is the danger period. So coming to your question, that when do we need admission? It is usually the second part of the illness that the patients usually are needed to be admitted, and is the critical phase known as the critical phase of dengue. And before that, if the fever is not subsiding, if the oral intake is very poor, if the child is not passing enough urine every 4 to 6 hourly, or if the platelet count is on the lower side, or there are any warning signs means pain abdomen is there, or persistent vomiting is there. These are usually the signs that when we see these signs, we ask the patient to get admitted.
Sure. Somebody has asked that 80,000 platelets in adults is serious. Do they need hospitalization?
See,
I think they should be talking about the age also.
yeah,
Asking
exactly.
your question.
Age is important. 80,000 alone, single values does not hold much much importance. It will also depend how many days since the fever has been occurring. Since what have been the trend of platelets, is it on an increasing trend? Is it on a decreasing trend? If previously it was 50,000, it is now on the 80,000. Definitely, there's no need for hospitalization. But if it is only the fourth or fifth day, the critical phase is yet to come, and the platelets are showing a downward trend, then definitely they need an admission for that.
He's asking, age is 30.
Age is 30. Yes, I'm telling you, it will also depend on the number of the days that the illness has. If it is only third, fourth, fifth day, then definitely you need admission for that, and you should get further tests also done to see how the hemoglobin is it been on an increasing or decreasing trend. They will need more tests also, so it's better to get admitted to be on the safe side. Better safe than sorry.
So let's say if they are admitted in the hospital. So how much time do you think it usually takes to get the kid to recover? And
If you
what
ask
is
me an average time, it would be around 4 to 5 days. But then again, it will depend on the type of dengue. See, dengue is not just one, it is just not just same in every patient. It is divided
okay?
into many different types. It can be a mild dengue, it can be a moderate type in which there are just danger signs and we need to take care of danger signs. And then there's a critical type, which is again of two types, dengue hemorrhagic fever and dengue shock syndrome. So if the patient is in dengue hemorrhagic fever, means there is any signs of bleeding from any mucosa or from any abdomen or in the vomitus, that those patients usually need admission for 7 to 10 days. If there was any symptoms of shock means there's a decrease in blood pressure. If the patient is not urinating well, even those patients will need an admission for around 7 days. But if it is dengue, which is usually in the 90% of the patients with just mild symptoms, usually 2 to 3 days admission is enough.
Sure. So, and are there any after effects of dengue post recovery?
Usually there is some weakness, there is some decreased appetite and some muscle pains, but they also go by another 14 to 15 days. After that, there is no such illness. And there has been seen a lot of weight loss is seen in such patients, but on that also they usually recover in the next coming 1 or 2 months.
And is it really impacts, that your body gets, again, it can be again impacted within the
Yeah,
same time period?
yeah, I'll just tell you, dengue is caused by 4 different types of viruses, dengue viruses, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So once you've been infected with one virus, you won't be infected by the same again, but there's a high chance that you can be infected with the second type among the 4. And when someone gets infected with the second time, usually it is more severe. It is known as secondary dengue, and in that case, it is usually much more severe than what it was in the first time.
And do you think, is there any gap when, let's say somebody just got dengue, and do you think it can happen even the next month? Or is it,
It,
there is no time or gap or anything like that?
See, ideally, there is no time gap in it. But what we've seen is that once a person is infected with dengue, the experience is so bad that they take extra care of themselves. So it is very rare that a person getting infected with the dengue in one season will also get infected again in the same one.
Okay. I
Yeah,
could see a lot of questions coming up. People are
exactly.
quite interested to know how to boost immunity in kids post dengue.
See, post dengue, a good, nutritious, healthy diet comprising of green leafy vegetables, a good protein intake, which can be in the form of animal source like eggs, chicken, meat. These are the ways in which you can boost the immunity. a good healthy diet, lack of junk food, keeping well hydrated. These are some of the things that can help boost immunity in children as well as in adults. That's the same for everyone.
Okay. But of course, I'm sure this is the kind of virus which we cannot, I mean, this can impact any children,
Exactly,
whatever we
exactly.
do.
It's children, adults,
I
it can
mean,
impact
whatever we
anyone.
do.
Yeah, impact anyone because it is usually because of the bite of a mosquito, and it can be in anywhere. It is not something that will discriminate between the urban or rural or the upper or the lower class. Anyone can get infected, not depending on the age or any other factor. Is not very important.
So it happens to the small babies, to the
It
adults,
does.
any
It does.
specific
It
age?
does. It does. It does. It does happen in small babies also, and usually it is much more severe in children than what it is seen in adults. So I mean, you have to be very vigilant and very careful once a
Right.
baby or a child develops fever. I mean, we should not take it for granted, and we should see your doctor at the earliest.
Sure, sure. Do you think we should treat dengue in kids with desi nuskas like giloy or papaya leaves?
Uh, and that's a very hard
Typical
question.
question which is being
Yeah,
asked, I'm sure, being a doctor, a lot of
it's that
people would ask, chalo, we'll
exactly,
try something. And if the
exactly.
doctor says yeah, it's like an achievement. My doctor said yes for it.
Yeah, and usually I have to give a very diplomatic answer to that. That it will
Yeah.
not cause any, it will not cause any harm to it. But please don't depend much on it, and don't expect many miracles that because you're having
Huh.
Giloy and papaya, that your platelets will start increasing. Platelets will increase by itself once the acute phase of the illness has gone past. The platelets will start to rise up. So it is not mainly because of any papaya, kiwi, or Giloy that you are taking. It is the normal
Right.
process, normal physiology of the disease because of which the platelets have started to increase. So definitely you can have a good diet, you can have papaya and kiwi, but don't depend on it that because you are having it, so your symptoms will start to improve and you're not seeing a doctor just because you're having a good diet.
Because I'm sure with kids now, people are so honest and they're like, we can do much better than being at home. Let's keep the baby at home. He may catch more infection in the
People are scared. See, there's no doubt about it that people are scared of going to the hospitals. I mean, it's a very
Yeah, these days,
difficult thing.
I could see three questions asking that is there any treatment which is available at home for dengue?
Exactly, exactly. Because of the many illnesses that are going on, and especially because of COVID, people are too afraid going to the hospital. They don't want that
True.
they go to the hospital with a mild illness and come back with something which is much more severe. So that is why they are
Yeah.
scared going to the hospital. But still, I feel taking all the due precautions, you should visit your doctor once because once till the time doctor has not seen you in physical, even over the phone, even over the, I mean, video or audio consultation, it does not make the same sense or, I mean, same level of expertise cannot be achieved. And it is better that you see a doctor at the earliest. And then maybe if he prescribes and if he or she tells you that you are safe at home, you can continue the treatment at home, then keep doing that. But do follow up with the doctor persistently, whatever time he tells you, even if it's after 24 or 48 hours, just keep a check with that and keep the doctor updated about your condition. Because something that may seem normal to you, doctor will be
Absolutely.
able to make note of it that it is not normal and you need to take much more attention of it.
True that is. Is dengue contagious?
See, it is not directly contagious, but yes, because it is a mosquito borne, so it can infect multiple members of the family. And if you're living in the same locality, in the same household, that yes, definitely, if there are mosquitoes around, then multiple people can also get, but usually not at the same period. It is usually that one after the another because once the virus has gone into the mosquito, even it has to harbor there and take 3 to 7 days inside the body of the mosquito also, and then the mosquito will be able to infect some other person.
Okay. What kind of precaution do you recommend for the parents to be taken during, somebody is affected or let's say going through dengue?
Precautions for the other family members you're talking about?
Family members or let's say for the children who have been
Yeah,
impacted.
precautions basically if hello.
I lost you in,
Yeah,
yeah.
is it okay now? Yeah.
Yeah,
See,
it's on.
if you are in a neighborhood, if you are in a place that there are if it is endemic to that place that many people are getting infected, dengue is usually not same throughout the year. It is usually the post monsoon time that you see a lot of dengue cases. It is not seen much in the early summertime of the year. So if it is that time of the year that you are hearing that so and so got infected with dengue, so and so many patients, parents are complaining that dengue is coming, then you need to be much more vigilant about it. And suppose I mean, Usually, mosquito bites take place at the time of dawn or at the time of dusk. So, if the children are going outside to play at that time, preferably I mean, they should be fully covered. They should wear full sleeve t-shirts and they should cover their legs or use mosquito repellents at the time when the children or adult are sleeping. These are some of the precautions you have to take place. And if there is some point that the water is being collected around your home or society, then you need to take care of that it should not happen. And regularly you should maintain this, you should maintain that the water collection is not there. And if it is there, you can even spray larvicides, and so that if it is free of any larva that could be infecting the water body.
Sure. Then what is the importance of flu shots for kids?
See, the flu shot that we are talking around, this is the influenza vaccine that is usually available every year. And this is something that is not compulsory, but is definitely advisable for all children below 18 years of age. Even if not up to 18, but up to 12 years, every child should get it done. Preferably, the best time to get it done is just before the start of the winters. In the Western countries, what we see is that everyone gets a flu shot, even children as well as adults. In India, we have not been able to achieve that, but we are trying to spread awareness regarding it, spread and to tell people that you should get your children and get the flu shot every year. And all children below 18 and also adults more than 65 years of age should definitely get a flu shot.
Sure. Any tips would you like to give it to the people who, for just awareness about dengue and all?
See,
To all the parents?
yeah, to all the parents, I just have to do two things. That first is the prevention thing that you have to prevent. In that, you obviously using mosquito repellents, not going out to play or wearing full sleeve clothes, spraying larvicides, not letting the water being collected, having a good nutritious diet. These are some of the things in which way you can prevent from getting infected with dengue. Obviously, someone easily can get infected once you're traveling to an endemic area. In that case, you just have to be vigilant enough. You don't have to keep sitting at home. You have to share your symptoms. Even if you can't visit a hospital, you should try to make a video consult or consult any doctor. He or she should be able to tell you better that whatever you are experiencing, whatever symptoms you are having, may be of dengue, and that way they can help you in whatever treatment is desired for you.
Sure. Thank you so much, Dr. Sahil. I think it was really, really important topic because I could see so many questions being asked, and since everybody is so concerned about the kids, and I think let's see you again
Very
soon.
soon. So thank you. My pleasure. Thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much. Thank you.
Thank you.